timing. Let's start stretched out child pose then. If you need a little more upper back, I would say maybe bring some blocks. Get settled from here. So take your knees pretty wide. Ooh. This is me learning not to mute my other device. There we go. There. We'll get settled down. Knees wide. Sit back onto the heels. Let the head drop all the way through. Let's take a nice big inhale through your nose. And an exhale out the mouth. Do that again. Big breath in. Open mouth exhale. Seal the lips. Inhale through the nose. Gentle exhale out the nose. Let the belly soften. The throat relax. We'll take a moment just feeling the floor underneath you. If you're using blocks under the hands, that feedback directly into the body. Breathe fully all the way into the back body, sides of the ribs. And we'll feel that sense of release and letting go as you exhale. And as you feel these connection points, head into the ground, hands on blocks, knees, feet into the floor. Take notice if there's any part of the body that still kind of feels a little stuck. I always like to remind people when we're in our restorative kind of mode is that you're not a statue. You still have a little bit of movement. You have permission to kind of adjust. If something doesn't quite feel right, don't feel stuck. And let everything slow down around us. The world outside of your walls can wait. Your to-do list can be put off for the hour. It'll still be there waiting for you when you're done with your yoga. Take about 5 more slow breaths here. Take your time with them. One more breath in. We're going to add a twist to your child's pose. So we'll keep the hips low behind you, but we'll slide your right arm underneath your left armpit. Settle onto your ear and your shoulder. You can lean onto that right shoulder. Your left arm can keep reaching forward. You can play with wrapping the left arm back. If you want a little more traction in that shoulder blade, you can gently press your left hand on top of right, pushing the right hand away. Three more breaths here. And release your right arm out from underneath. Let's come back to center. Pause here for a moment. You're ready for the other side. We'll slide the left arm through. Again, you've got options with your right arm. Find the best one that works for this left shoulder and twist into the upper back. Stay for 3 more inhales. And then release your left arm out from underneath. Come back through center. If you need a little more stretch in the upper back, you might play with bending the elbows, taking your thumbs behind the head. Let your heart drop a little closer to the floor. And release the hands. Let's start to rise up onto hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide, knees directly under the hips. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow here, working from the low spine all the way to the crown of the head. And rolling through the spine, letting the head release. We'll add any extra movements here. Maybe you need a little bit more in the side body. Maybe you need a little more in the back of the neck. Start to feel what's happening along the spine, where you might be holding a lot of tension, maybe from sitting too much, being stuck on a plane. We'll come back to a neutral spine. You're going to turn your hands out to the sides. Take a gentle rock side to side, working into the wrists and the forearms. And turn your fingers so that they're pointing back towards your knees. And you're going to take a gentle rock forward and back, either keeping the heels of the hands down or maybe stretching all the way to the fingers by lifting the palms out of the floor and then bringing the palms back down. One more round of breath here. And then we'll flip the hands so the backs of the hands are down and the fingers are pointing toward each other. We're going to curl all the fingers in, making little fists. You'll feel that stretch in the back of the wrist and then opening everything back up. Do that a couple more times. And let's come back to a neutral spine. From here, we're going to step your right foot to the back of the mat. We'll take some gentle rocks forward and back. So curling into the toes, you'll feel that stretch through the arch of the foot. And then when you lean back, you'll feel that stretch more in the calf into the hamstring. Just taking slow movements here, feeling a little bit of space grow between the toes, all the places that we don't really stretch very often, or don't give a lot of attention to. Okay, and I'm going to turn your left knee so that your toes point over to the left side of your mat. Seal your right foot down. We're going to take an opening from the floor. Reach that right arm up. If you need a little more side bend, reach your right arm forward. Pause here for a couple breaths. Big breaths all the way into the right side body. One more inhale. Return your right hand to the floor. We'll turn your left knee so it's pointing back behind you, and we'll bring your right knee in. Go over to the other side, stepping your left toes back, just taking a few rocks forward and back. If you get to a spot that feels like it needs a little extra time, feel free to add a couple breaths there. Work with your sensations that you're feeling through the leg. Left side might feel completely different from the right. A couple more rocks here. And we'll turn your right knee so your toes point over to the right side of your mat. Seal your left foot down. We'll peel the chest open. Take up some space. If you need a little bit more side bend, lengthen left arm forward. A couple more breaths here. And we'll turn your left hand down, bring your left knee and turn that right knee back. Take child's pose again, sitting back to the heels. Get some of that pressure out of the wrists here. If they're still feeling tight, feel free to roll through them. And then come back onto hands and knees. We're going to step your right foot forward to the outside of your right hand. Just make sure they got enough space here. From here, we're going to bring the hands onto blocks so that we get a little bit higher. I want you to think about dropping the hips forward and lifting the chest, kind of like when you're doing upward facing dog. Just kind of find a place where you feel enough through the hips. Pause here for 3 more breaths. Last breath in. We'll start to come down onto the forearms. Feel free to use any height of the block you want. Maybe bring the forearms onto those blocks. If your body needs more, you could take the arms to the floor. Use a block under the head instead. Keep the back of the neck long. We're going to let gravity do most of the work here. So we already have our legs set up, put right foot forward. Just make sure that your knee is happy. And the pelvis weighs plenty, so we'll just get out of the way, let gravity do its thing. And you'll feel a little opening on that left hip crease. Feel some of the stretch wrapping around the right hip into the glute. Relax the jaw here. If you tend to clench your teeth, maybe open and close the mouth or move the jaw side to side. Take about 5 more breaths here. One more inhale. We'll come back up onto the hands. We're going to be setting up for a half pigeon from here. And if you've got some soft and squishy stuff nearby, a bolster or blanket, we're going to add some height under the hips. We'll get our prop set underneath you. Walk your right foot over toward the left. Let your right knee drop over to the right. Make sure that knee goes nice and wide. Feel free to adjust the height of your props. And just make sure that the hips are feeling happy here. We're not leaning too far one way or the other. Once that's settled, if you want to come closer to the floor again, maybe bringing forearms onto the blocks or down into the ground. Actively relax all the muscles surrounding the hips. Notice if there's any amount of kind of forcing our way into the stretch in the hips. And if there is any of that kind of force or extra tension or effort, try to soften this up. We're going to stay here for a couple minutes. So you've got some time for the hips to really slowly open on their own time with the help of gravity, rather than trying to drop straight into like a 10 hip sensation. The nice thing of having a longer amount of time set into a pose is that you have room, so that in a few breaths, if things do start to open a little more, and you're not a statue, you're not stuck, you can adjust. Maybe you want things a little lower, things are opening. Maybe you started a little too deep and your body is asking you to back off. You can always make adjustments here. Tailor your level of difficulty for what your body needs in that moment. Take one more breath here. And gently start to press back up. We'll slide the left knee forward so we can get this prop out from underneath and lean onto this right hip. We're going to swing this left leg around. Take it out to about 45 degrees. We'll bring your right foot into your inner left thigh. We'll start to turn the chest toward the right knee. And you may want a block or a bolster inside of your left leg. We'll bring that left elbow down. So you've got a little resting spot for your head. And we're going to take a side bend, right arm reaching toward the left toes. And I'm going to have gravity help us here. Your head is heavy. This top arm is heavy, so if you want, you can drape it over the head. Just lean the upper body toward the left using our props. Get some support underneath you, but also get plenty of room for the breath to expand, and for the right side body to release. Stay here for one more breath. Move this top arm out of the way. Realign the spine. Pause here for a moment. You're going to feel a lot of sensation on the right side body. And we'll swing the left leg back behind. And we'll take the right leg behind as well, coming onto hands and knees. Let's step your right foot to the back of the mat. And you're just going to wobble this heel side to side, getting some movement through the right hip. And then we'll bring the right knee underneath you. We'll start to sit up on the left side. Left foot will step outside of your left hand. Rock the hips forward. Give yourself plenty of room for the chest to come through. Maybe bringing blocks under the hands. Feel a little bit of upward facing dog happening here with one leg forward. Two more breaths. And we'll start to lower, coming onto the forearms, using a block under the head. Keep the back of the neck long and relaxed. Notice where in the body is the first place to tense up. Once you come into your longer held hip stretch here.
Hey Terry, I think we lost sound. I can't hear you, but I can see you still.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. This happened to me last week as well.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know why.
Oh, no worries.
It's one of those Zoom things I can't figure out.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. All right, so we'll come into a half happy baby. So you can use your left hand, anchor your left thigh. As the sounds on my computer picks up everything that runs, so now you can hear my ceiling fan. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then we'll release the right foot. Let's take this right knee across for a twist. Keep the bolster or blankets nearby. You might bring your leg onto your prop. Shift your hips to the right a little, and we'll let the right arm open out. Let's take 3 more breaths. We'll bring everything back to center. Reset the hips. We're going to move any props over to the other side so you're ready when we get over there. We'll take this left leg into a half happy baby. Right leg extended long. It's my kids slamming the toilet. One more breath here. And release that left foot. Let's cross the knee over. Take your twist, scoot the hips over to the left. Let your left arm fall open. One more inhale. And roll everything back to center. Reset the hips. Draw the knees in, take them wide to the sides of the ribs. And hold on to the knees, or if you're gonna grab for the feet, happy baby. And final little movements. Start to set up for Shavasana. If you have 2 blocks and a bolster at your disposal, maybe setting up a little Stonehenge. So you have your blocks and your bolster across. Lift the legs. You want the blocks about as wide as your legs are going to be. Also allow the low back to relax into the floor. Let the shoulder blades flatten down. And just feel that everything's nice and relaxed back of the neck. You might rock your head a little side to side. We'll take 3 cleansing breaths here together. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Again, big breath in. Breath out. Last one. Fill all the way up. And we'll empty the breath. Gently start to deepen your breath. Movement back into the fingers and the toes. Circle the wrists and the ankles. Reach the arms long, full body stretch. Yawn, move your jaw around. Curl into the body and roll to the left. And take a few breaths on your side. Using the hands for support, we'll press your way up to a comfortable seat. And keep the eyes closed or soft. Bring the palms to touch at heart center. Sit tall through the spine, relax the shoulders down. We'll seal our practice this evening with a single Om. Take a full breath in through your nose. Sigh this breath out. We'll inhale to chant. Om. Namaste. Hopefully the sound